Have you ever caught yourself reaching for a bad habit without even thinking about it? Like maybe it's out of stress or boredom. Guys, this is where Fume comes in. It's not about quitting. It's about replacing. Fume offers a simple way to break bad habits while still having something to reach for. Fume is an award-winning flavored air device that delivers great taste without any harmful chemicals. Instead of inhaling vapors, you breathe in natural, non-toxic flavors that satisfies your cravings without the downside. Whether you're looking to keep your hands busy or you're looking to curb an urge, Fume's premium wood design is built for both flavor and function. The magnetic fidget features add an extra layer of satisfaction. My go-to flavor is crisp mint, because it's super refreshing. But Fume's got tons of different flavors, something for everyone. Over 500,000 people have already made the switch to Fume as part of their habit-changing journey. For a limited time, if you order the Journey Pack and you use my code Chael, you will get a free Fume topper. Click the link, tryfume.com/Chael. That's F-U-M. By the way, you can also just scan the QR code I put on the screen. Kyle Brallo, which I gotta tell you is becoming one of my favorite fighters for a number of reasons, but Kyle just did an interview and he said that a lot of people are speculating. He said it like this was a known thing. Like he just glossed right over this, but he said, well, a lot of people are saying that if Chimaev wins, he's going to retire and never fight again. I didn't know people were saying that. I had never heard that.
What if he loses, Chael? Does he still retire?
All right, so that's the voice of God known as my partner, Ryan. He said, well, what if he loses? Does he still retire? Let's look at both sides of that. Now, this had never crossed my mind until Kyle said that other people were discussing, like this was a rumor that's going around our industry. And not for nothing, it has been difficult to get Chimaev to the ring. And the reason that there's some irony to that is the entire gimmick of Chimaev revolved around how easy it was to get him to the ring. Right? I mean, just to remind you guys, they're out on Fight Island. Chimaev fights at 185 pounds. We've never seen him. He makes his UFC debut. He fights at 185 pounds. He wins. He's now on vacation. He's now hanging out until his plane leaves. They come to him and go, and they're having the very next week, there was a show. Which means he's fighting 7 days apart. But at this point, with the victory, the weigh-in's only 6 days, and the day that he finds out about it is only 5 days. And the most amazing thing is he went to 170. Like, the story's still cool if he fights twice and he fights at 170 and then he fights at 185. Like, the story's still cool. But for me, it's much cooler, just because it's much more put myself in your shoes. He fought at 185. He went down. So now you're going, okay, did this guy just cut a ton of weight? Or did he give up a bunch of weight to start with? We've actually never been given an answer to this question, but I bring that story to you because this was a Chimaev thing. So he's fighting at 85, he's fighting at 170, he comes back against MG3, back at 185. They're talking about him fighting for a title at 170. But we've never clearly been told as the audience whether he's a welterweight or a middleweight, and this was just an amazing thing. I mean, a PR director or the VP of marketing could not have laid out a plan or predicted how well this was going to work. We as a community, we were so into this. This guy's doing Cowboy Cerrone, but he's doing it at a faster rate than Cowboy Cerrone. Like, it was just a sensation. And now we're to the point where it's very difficult to get him to the ring. And we've never really been told why. There was all sorts of reports out there that it was hard for him to travel, that it was hard to get into the U.S. It was to the point that everybody, including Dricus du Plessis, believed that Dricus du Plessis was going to have to go to Abu Dhabi for the fight, and when the announcement comes out that it's in Chicago, like we're all just left as surprised. Let me give you my Chimaev story, my personal story. It's going around the media. It's everywhere that Chimaev can't get into the country. This story's everywhere. And nobody from Chimaev to Team Chimaev corrected the story. So I'm out at the UFC PI. It's my first time. I'm with Forrest. He's giving me a tour of the facility. I've never been there. I ran into Chimaev. I'd never met him before. Like, that's Chimaev. That's the guy that everyone says can't get in the country. And I took out my phone and I make an Instagram. I'm doing the selfie, and I go, "There's a report that Khamzat Chimaev cannot get into America, and I happen to be standing with somebody that knows a little about this." And I turn the phone and it's on Chimaev. It was my biggest Instagram to this day, my biggest social media hit that I've ever had. But then it gets repeated. Years later, the same story that Chimaev can't get into the country gets repeated. Nobody confirms it. Nobody denies it. Then we get an announcement that Chimaev has come to Chicago. Now, I take the time to walk you down memory lane to let you know that when I say getting Chimaev to the ring has been very difficult, I'm not blaming Chimaev. There's been things that have happened. We had a world pandemic that almost cost him his life. And he was one of the really tough stories that got put on a respirator and didn't know if he was ever going to do the sport again. Didn't even know if he could go back to practice another day. And that is coming right from Chimaev. So, at that time, as a matter of fact, if you guys remember COVID and Chimaev's experience and the respirator, if you remember that, he was booked to fight Leon. Now, Leon was ranked number 3. And there was an appearance that we would like to get Chimaev to a championship fight. But we can't because he's not ranked. Meanwhile, Leon likely deserves a championship fight, but it's not what's next. So let's get these two together with the promise made to Leon and an understanding made to Chimaev. Winner goes for the belt. I'm just reminding you of that time frame. So here we are all these years later. Chimaev's been a number 1 contender, guys. How many times? Is it 3? This is off the top of my head, but is it 3 times? You begged for him to fight Kamaru Usman, but he wasn't actually the number 1 contender at that time. Chimaev became a number 1 contender the night that he beat Kamaru Usman, where it was actually announced. And that drew him into Sean Strickland. But in the fight with Kamaru, Chimaev had broken his hand. So that's 1. And then when he beats Whitaker, that becomes 2. So I'm wrong on 3. Is that my problem? I said 3, but pretty interesting. I mean, you guys wanted him to fight for a belt strongly. You wanted him to fight for a belt at 170 pounds. Then he becomes the number 1 contender at 185 pounds. And now he's finally going to go through with it at 185 pounds. And now I'm being told, I'm hearing that there's a portion of our community that's hearing, right? So double speculation crosses each other out, almost makes it fact. That if he wins, he'll take the belt and go home. And it's not completely unfathomable. Like there are guys, Khabib's entire team, for example, that are not fighting for the fame or money. They genuinely, in their heart, don't care about the fame or the money. And Chimaev comes from that same walk. So when Kyle says there's a rumor that he might not fight, okay, great. And then when my partner Ryan says, well, what if it's the other way? What if he loses? Like, if you're only here to be champion, right? Like, being champion is so important to you that if you get the belt, you're done. Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. There's nothing else to do. If that's your mindset, then to my partner Ryan's point, it seems like your mindset would also be the other side of the coin, which is, I'm not going back to the bottom of the deck. Look at what I went through. Two different weight classes, a respirator, travel issues, allegedly, all these years, all these fights, a broken hand. Look at everything that I went through. If I can't capture the belt now, I'm not going to be one of these people that fails to realize as human beings we don't get better with time. Sadly, we only get worse. So if the rumor is true that Chimaev plans to retire with a victory, which very much surprised me, but I'll just tell you, if that's true, if that is his mindset, then I'm confident in telling you that he would certainly retire without a victory.